Well, thank you very much. Now it's the time to start the panel itself. We have the 4 panelists here ready. I'm going to tell you who they are. On my right, starting from my right, Barbara Prodinger, she's the CEO of Livier. Sonia Huerta, Destination Manager at Mabrian. We have here Carlos Molina, CEO at Multiversal, and Pierre Bourdin. He's a computer science professor at the Open University of Catalonia. Most of you have probably been hearing lots about the metaverse. You've read, you've seen news. It's everywhere. For the last few weeks, months, maybe even for the last few years for some of you, we've been hearing what is coming, right? Mr. Facebook, in a way, Mr. Zuckerberg, is organizing this metaverse that is going to have big consequences. We'll be able to have a new reality, which means that it's, to start with, it's really exciting because we're going to be able to experience things in a new way, which is thrilling, it's incredible, but there could also be a dark side. Of course, we're going to lose lots of privacy, or more privacy that we're already losing, but today we'll try to shed some light on all this with all these 4 different panelists. The way we're going to organize this panel is that first we'll introduce all of the panelists. They'll have 10-15 minutes to give us a speech, to share their vision of the issue. And then from here on, we'll see the 4 of them. We'll send them a question afterwards so they can answer and they can explain a bit more what they mean and what they want to offer to all of us, to the audience. And then we'll open the microphones to all of you in case that you want to clarify something, you want to just give us some new thoughts and something we can think about, right? So you'll be able to interact and to ask different things about the panelists. So if everything is ready, I think we'll start with Pierre. Pierre, I'll introduce you while you go to the to start your speech. Graduated in computer sciences and robotics engineering. He has been teaching computer science in France for 10 years before moving to Barcelona to work as a researcher under the supervision of Mel Slater in the Event Lab at the University of Barcelona. He's now working as an associate professor in the multimedia team of the computer science department. We're talking about the Open University of Catalonia, UOC, where he's the responsible of the CD programming, virtual reality, and video games programming. He thinks, if you Google a bit or if you go online, you find that he thinks that metaverse is going to be for everyone. Everyone is going to be a metaverse. Like you said, that everyone has a mobile phone now. And a while ago, it looked like mobile phones were going to be like, wow, just for a few people. But everyone has one. So everyone is going to be in the metaverse. So we can wait any more to hear what you can tell us.
Well, that's thank you for, first of all, thank you for inviting me. And maybe during the panel later, we're going to discuss maybe this. So to answer the question, I think the metaverse is probably not a threat, but a tool. I would say that, of course, it will bring opportunities, but also serious concerns, and that's the main purpose of my talk or presentation is maybe to explain a bit what is the metaverse and why there are opportunities. But I guess my colleagues will explain a bit more the opportunities, so I will focus a bit on the concern. So first, I would say that the metaverse, what it is, technically, it's a shared and persistent online space, enabling real-time interaction in a reality that can be the physical reality, I mean the real world in which we are now, or a digital virtual reality, or even a mix of both, what we call the mixed reality. And it is an interconnected web of social, network, immersive environment in persistent multi-user platform. That means that it is multi-user. It's like a social network, but in 3 dimensions, okay? So I will explain a bit more the differences between the virtual reality, the augmented reality, and the mixed reality. We have, on one side, we have virtual reality, which is where we are completely immersed in a virtual environment, and we have no contact with the physical reality. It can be like wearing a helmet, on your face, and then you are totally immersed in the virtual reality, or it can be with a projection system. You have like projection system that are surrounding you, and you feel you're inside, completely immersed in the virtual environment. On the other side, you have the augmented reality, where the reality, the physical reality, as the main is the main purpose. And on top of it, you add some information. That's the case when you have like your phone and you see a real-time video of, you're looking at your phone and the camera of what is recording the camera of your phone, and on top of it you see some information like, I don't know, some arrows to indicate where you have to go if you're looking for some direction. But the main information is the reality, and you add some information on top of it. And the third one is the mixed reality, which is where you have both the reality and the virtuality are interconnected, in the sense that you can have virtual object inside what is the representation of the reality of the physical world, but you have also knowledge of how is organized this real physical world. I mean, for example, if you have a virtual object, let's say, I don't know, to say some classical example, you have like a dinosaur that happened in a park, and you have a tree. So if you have the park, to put the dinosaur, you have to know where is the ground. So the system is knowing that in the physical reality, one part is the ground, so it's calculating that there is a surface, and it will put the dinosaur on the surface. And if you have like a tree, and the dinosaur is going behind the tree, you will mask, or you will hide a part of the dinosaur, because the system knows that there is the tree in the physical environment and the dinosaur is behind the tree. So there is more knowledge. It's not the same as the augmented reality in the sense that you have more knowledge of how is organized the reality. But you add also some virtual element on top of the physical reality. And all of this has been theorized a long time ago already in 1984 by Milgram and Kishino, and it's what is known as the continuum between reality and virtual reality, or virtuality continuum. So on one side, you have the, I don't know if there is, well, anyway. So on one side, you have the real environment, and that's the side where you have the augmented reality, and on the opposite side, you have the virtual environment where you have the virtual reality, and in the middle, you have all the different possibilities of interconnection between the virtuality and the reality, or the physical reality. But if we come back to the metaverse, where does it come from? So first, it happened it appears in a science fiction novel in 1982, which is named Snow Crash, and where the story was, the author was imagining an extension of the internet through virtual reality. So already they had this idea that we could have like an extension of the internet using virtual reality. But probably the most famous example or a preliminary version of the metaverse was Second Life, a project by Linden Labs. And it was not, sometimes people say that it was like a video game, but it was not a video game in the sense that there was no goal inside the virtual environment. People were going inside this virtual environment, but to meet together, to have conversation, to exchange with each other, but there was no, no fight, no organized conflict, nor any goal. You didn't go to achieve a mission or something. You were just going there to meet some people and to have communication with them. What we can remark is that it had quite a lot of users, almost 1 million, and it already had also different facilities, like you could build your own property, you could organize events, you could design your own avatar, and the system had its own currency. So you could buy and exchange things, which is pretty much what we want to achieve now, or what is already ongoing in the modern metaverse. The other quite famous metaverse is Oasis from Ready Player One, which is a novel, but it's more famous probably for the adaptation, the film adaptation directed by Steven Spielberg. And where there was this video game that was worldwide connected, and people were playing inside this video game. So there was this connection between the reality and the virtuality. And probably, as you said, if we all speak of Metaverse today, it's because Facebook changed its name and became Meta, and they claim it was to develop the Metaverse that will go beyond social media platform. So we'll see how it goes and what is the purpose of all of this. Why is it happening now? I mean, if already in 1982 they were thinking of it, if Linden Labs already did that, so why is it happening now? I think first, we don't have to be, I mean, if we want to be honest, probably Facebook had some interest in changing its name for other reasons. But the main reasons are that the software and the hardware are evolved enough to offer a quality of devices at an affordable price that permits the people to go inside this virtual environment. Also, it's because companies expect to make big profits selling the material, either the hardware or the software. So Facebook is the owner of Oculus, which is the main head-mounted display that people are using to go in virtual reality. Microsoft is the owner of HoloLens, which is the most famous glasses to do augmented reality. And a lot of companies are selling that are selling video games are already working on platform, and I don't know, they are making a lot of money just like to customize the appearance of your player or these kind of things. It's also because some technology regarding the decentralized cryptocurrency is mature enough also to allow innovative transaction. So that's the case of the blockchain and NFT. And all of this together is making it possible now. So what could be the benefits from this? Well, I think first, probably the pioneer will be the luxe and fashion industry, also the video games or cinema, all the entertainment. But since we are speaking of tourism, why not travel agencies? They could offer maybe virtual trip, virtual vacation, and in that sense, maybe do something more sustainable for the planet, reducing the travel or limiting, maybe putting some limitation of the travels. Also, even if it's something which is maybe more confidential, there are some people that have like condition that they cannot move or they are sick or they are ill and they can't travel to meet their parents or their friends, or they can't explore, I don't know, the mountains because their physical condition do not allow them to do that. And through the virtual reality and the metaverse, maybe they will be able, or they are already able to do some kind of exploration. So that's also an aspect that is quite positive. But still, there are many challenges. I mean, beyond the technical challenges, of course, still we have a lot of work to do to improve the quality of the metaverse, making it more realistic, maybe improve the communication, the interaction, and everything. But what I'm interested more is maybe to speak about the different risks and the challenges more related to the social network aspect of it. So I think probably we could classify those risks in 4 categories. The physical and well-being, like for example, if you put the helmet and you get dizzy, or probably you've all heard of people playing a Pokemon game or augmented reality game and being so immersed that they had accidents because they didn't care of the reality. Of course, there can be a psychological problem. For example, one of the concerns is you could mix the reality and the virtuality, and the more and more the quality of the environment will be improved, the more it will be difficult to differentiate between what is real and what is virtual. But there is an aspect which is also very important. It's the morality and ethics. What is happening in this world? Who is controlling the world? What are the rules? What can be done or not? And of course, the data privacy. So as we see in the picture, this woman is wearing a helmet. This helmet has cameras. These cameras are recording images of the place where you were using the helmet, for example. So that means that the company is theoretically accessing images of your environment where you are. So what's going to happen with this data? All of the information, emotional information, all the information about how you behave in the virtual environment will allow them to do more, to profile you in a way that has never been achieved. So to conclude, I just want to say that it's a tool like I don't know, like mail, telegraph, telephone, have been used for years for sharing and for collaborating. Well, the metaverse is aiming to become an essential tool in our life. And like every powerful tool, it can be dangerous. It depends who uses it and how you use it. So the ethical aspects are very important and they should not be neglected. What I want to say just to finish is that when you're living a virtual experience, even if everything is virtual, if you're in a virtual environment and nothing happened physically, it's just virtual, but the emotion and the stress and the trauma that you're living is very real. So it can affect you very strongly. So this is something that we should study and that we should take into account. So that's why I think we should have more non-profit organization involved or governmental agencies involved in this process, and they should accompany the birth of this new world. So I think it's, as I said, I hope I convince you that it's a tool and that it can bring opportunities. I think my colleagues will explain a bit more about these opportunities, but also some concerns, and that we have to take the time also to think of the consequences of what can happen in this world. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Pierre, for your words. Now we'll have Carlos Molina del Rio. Please, you can get to the right place. Carlos Molina del Rio is a founder of Multiversal.es, the Spanish online publication that analyzes current digital business. He's a product leader with experience in industries such as entertainment, e-health, martech, and adtech, video games, and he has 15 years of experience in the technology industry, creating products and businesses within Telefonica, and founding also startups. He's a telecommunication engineer, MBA from IESE, and specialized in product management at Berkeley. He has all these videos on the internet. I encourage you to watch them. These 2-minute videos, very intense online, where he talks about Microsoft, Google, TikTok, digital businesses, anything you can imagine related to this world. It's really interesting. Carlos, your 10-15 minutes, please.
Thank you for the intro. The videos are in Spanish, by the way, so if you follow me, you are gonna also learn Spanish a little bit. So, okay, I'm gonna tell you a story today. So my wife is a huge fan of The Godfather. I assume that most of you know the 3 films, incredible. And 9 years ago, I proposed a trip to Sicily, to Italy, because I've been living there for 2 years. It was the first trip after our first kid was born. So, and we are gonna go there without kids. So it's the first trip after our first kid. And I imagine, Sicily, Syracuse, the Etna, and also Catania, Palermo, the Stromboli. There are so big things to see there. Can you picture the trip? It was amazing for me. I was really hoping to come. Do you know where we ended? Well, we ended here. And I don't know if you know what is this, and I didn't know before, but this is the place of the Godfather where the main character he's talking with the father of the girl that he meets, and then it's his wife, and so on. So, of course that we went to all the places that are marvelous in Sicily, but we also go there. Why? Because the Godfather creates this media, this film creates myths, and their myths stick with people and with the souls of the people that see the movie, they like it, they love it, and they want to experience what happened there. So today, we are going to talk a little bit about the creation of the myths, and we are going to talk about how Metaverse could be a way to create myths. I'm going to tell you first three things about the Metaverse, just really quick. And then we are going to go into the creation of the myths, okay? So the first thing of these three things is, well, okay, what is the Metaverse? We already, with Pierre, we already dig up in detail what is the Metaverse. It's going to be a huge, fast recap about, well, mainly Metaverse, it's a concept. And in this concept, you can put a lot of things. We are going to see how others see Metaverse. But to me, honestly, there are two things mainly. And it's content consumption and interaction. So how you access content. Before 20 years ago or 30 years ago, it was newspapers and films. Now there is digital newspapers, and, well, films are also there, luckily. And then the other thing is the interaction, how you interact with other people. 20 years ago or 25 years ago, you go to the neighborhood and you interact, and now it's different. So Metaverse is talking mainly about content consumption and interaction. So what we have in content consumption? In content consumption, okay, you can have your mobile phone that it's blended with the reality, so it shows you, for instance, the map, where do you want to go or how you want to go. And this is a kind of augmented reality that Pierre explains, and this is the first step. The second step is, imagine if you have a glass, and on top of the glass you see here, but imagine that I saying, okay, how many of you are already asleep in my presentation? And here is 10 people asleep, or no one. I hope no one. So no one. I see your faces, all of you. So then this is kind of information. Now it's in the cars. You are driving, and some cars, they have the display here, not in front of you, so you see a specific info that it doesn't block you to see the road. So that kind of things are augmented reality also. But when you go one step farther, you have the head-mounted display, and you don't see anything here. So you put that, and I remember a video of a girl, he's playing a horror video game, and he was freaking out. Like, oh my God, because when you put that on, you don't know what is happening around you. So you put yourself in a completely different scenario. So it's like 130 years ago, the first people that see a train coming in a film, and they start running, and they were really scary. So that is what is happening right now with this. Okay? So what is the other thing? The other thing is the interaction. So what is the interaction, or how the interaction is performed? So this is Roblox. I'm going to talk about Roblox a little bit after. So the interaction mainly is how people talk each other, share each other, maybe to do something like, let's play together something together. And we talk, meanwhile, every Wednesday I play with my friends from high school online. We are in different cities. We play a game together. We have cameras and mic, and we hang out in a video game. And that is a kind of interaction, but it could be also just for fun. So, for instance, you can have beers on your home. In pandemia, it was a hit because we don't have any other way to do it. So people hang out in WhatsApp or whatever, talking to each other in groups, just pretending that they are together in bars. So this is the kind of interaction. What do you do with other people that you know or you don't know? So this is, to me, Metaverse. So remember, if you here Metaverse is content consumption and interaction. what is Metaverse for other people? Just don't be scared, and don't be scared for the amount of things that you're going to see in the next slide, and don't be scared of the ugliness of the slide because it's a consultancy thing, okay? So Gartner, that is a huge and a great company, they said, okay, what are the elements of the metaverse? And they put digital currency like crypto coins and these kind of things. It could be, yes, it could be inside, but to me, it's not a key element. Or you have the digital commerce with digital currency. You have NFTs that are non-fungible tokens, things that are authentic pieces are validated that are authentic, like the Chromos. The NFTs is really, really trendy now. Let's see how evolved. Well, the infrastructure, the devices, like the head mounted, there are a lot of things that people say this is metaverse. Okay, this can enrich metaverse, but metaverse, that is my opinion, because metaverse is a concept, it's only interaction and content consumption. You can add a lot of things to it. Okay, that is the first thing. What is the metaverse? This is the first thing that I want to share with you today. What is the second thing that I want to share with you today? It's not new. We already give a little glimpse of why it's not new. Well, let me put you in the images. Pierre already talked about Second Life. Second Life was born in 2003. It was a blast in 2008. There are like jewelry, Nike, all the big brands opening things in Second Life. And there was a huge hype. I have a colleague, I was working in Telefonica at the time, and Telefonica even opened there a shop. So it was a hype there that then blew off. Then we have another kind of metaverse, more dedicated to video games, like World of Warcraft, Roblox, Minecraft, Fortnite lately, and now we have Decentraland. Decentraland is really, really similar to Second Life. The other four are video games in which you can hang out, you can have an interaction, you have another you. So if you want to be, for instance, mine can be, I don't know, tall and playing in the NBA. That is not real, almost. So you can have this kind of avatar. So that is metaverse, what will be happening in 20 years. And you can say that all this is metaverse. There is a step ahead. So there are people that saying, okay, but in metaverse, you can connect all those worlds. So if you earn something in one place, you can enjoy in another. But this is a step ahead in terms of interactivity, okay? But it's not new. And I have another thing. It's not new, and it has been a massive success. So why? Because how many of you have played World of Warcraft? Or what, 2? Okay, got it. Roblox, I think that know what Roblox? Well, then skip. I have 2 slides about Roblox. Don't look at that slide then. Fortnite. What? 3, 4 Fortnite. Okay, Fortnite is okay. So it's not. How many of you have a mobile phone? Okay, that is a massive success. Okay, let's compare apples to apples. Okay, so it haven't been a success yet. It's not the present. It's not the reality that all of us now we are enjoying or are talking. So the third message that I want to share with you today is there are opportunities. Okay, there are opportunities. About metaverse, we need to see if metaverse is a reality in terms of massive success, but of course there are opportunities. And if you think about metaverse right now in the tourism space, well, there are some use cases in the typical conversion funnel that helps you to explain better what you are offering, or to try to convince people in order to buy something, or trying to help them in order to, this is going to be the next generation of the Roblox. I really love the kid. I seen it at the beginning and I say, come on, that's the way. So in the evaluation, how you compare things, that is going to help also. So there are several things, and this list is going to grow, okay? But I'm not going to talk about what is possible today, that you can do things, and maybe my colleagues will explain you other kind of stuff. What I'm going to tell you is that there are opportunities in the midterm. And why? Why in the midterm? Because if you analyze the Roblox, here comes the slide, if you analyze the success, the current success, and so Roblox and Fortnite, the average user age is 8 to 10, 12 to 16, really close to you. I know that you are a young person there. So this is the average user. And what happens when the average user is doing something, is doing something that is different from the rest of us? So I remember, this is not ready, not prepared here. I remember when I talked to Nike, and I was doing some consultancy with Nike, and they have a huge shop and all of that. And I say, what is the target audience of Nike? And they said, I am trying to sell things to the people that are between 20 to 29. And I said, but you know that more like 60, 70% of the people that actually buy, because we were doing the research, are 40 to 50. And they say, yes. We have assured the revenues in this generation. I need to convince the next generation. So in 10 years, they are going to still buy me. So they are thinking, I need this reference about the only player, they put always good players, and also so LeBron James, Rafa Nadal, whatever. So they have only 2 beyond 30s. So they put always people between 20 to 29 to have reference for younger people, because the battle is in the younger people that is going to be the buyers in the future. So what happened here? These guys, these kids are going to be the consumers of the future. So what they get used is going to be normal in the future. And you see, and you can think about, but are you sure? Well, if we look in the past, I don't know how many of you remember this. Okay? Yes? Okay. That was for hanging out with your friends. Some of us maybe date someone that we don't know before Tinder with that. I am not going to give you names. But what happened with this? This was 25 years ago. Now what we have? We have Teams, okay? We have Teams. I can do maybe some of you are thinking, what about IRC? Because IRC is like a Slack. I know the faces, okay? Let's put this that everybody knows that. So Messenger and Teams is the same thing. Messenger was to hang out. Now Teams is for working. But it's the same thing. And when I explained, I remember perfectly, my girlfriend at that time is not the one that the Godfather, I can tell you. So 25 years ago, I thought we can chat. And she was like, we can do what? Are you going to chat with me? Why do you call me? And I say, well, because it's different. So I never be able to chat with that girlfriend at that time. She doesn't understand. And now, 7 years after we broke up, she texts me in Facebook and hi. And it's like, what are you doing? This is chatting. But it takes time to people to get used to the new things. Not for the kids, okay? So this is the behavior in the old days, and this is what is now, okay? So those are the 3 messages. Remember, the first one is the metaverse, content consumption, and interaction. The second one is not new, and it has never been a success. So let's see what happened with metaverse. The third one is there is opportunity in the midterm, because the things that are now in the kids are going to be normal in the future. So one thing that we have seen is that media, all kind of media, books, films, whatever you think about, is a really powerful tool to create myths. And let me put you some examples. So why Paris is the city of love? Well, Paris is the city of love because they have American industry of films put in Paris as an example. I will tell you, I prefer Rome much better than Paris, but Rome has a different kind of cinema in the 50s, in the last century. They create this myth about Paris, and it's not the only one. We have also Japan. I am a huge anime fan. We can talk about that later. And in Japan, you have all the history and samurais and so on, but you have also the thing about the new thing, the modern story about electronics and so on, and new trends that are only there. Okay, so Japan, another myth there. Why Japan and not Indonesia? Okay, so and of course. New York, Manhattan, as you have directors like Woody Allen that made New York what we have in our minds, in our soul about New York. That's why there are cities paying Woody Allen to film in their cities because they want to create that message in the audience. Those are examples that everybody knows. So when now I remember you that my wife is a huge fan of The Godfather, and we go there and we visit the places in which they were recorded, and it was different small towns. It's not Corleone, it's Savoca, for instance. So they are different, and you analyze where it is, and you go there. It's not so strange because it's the same thing that you go to New York and you see, oh, here is where whatever happened, no matter if it's sports or cinema. So my question, and I want to leave that question to you guys, is could the metaverse as new form of media that is going to be consumed by kids and by us, let's see if it's massive or not, but think about metaverse as a media, could be the cinema of the next century, or this century, could create these myths around. And that make huge impact, of course, in all the kind of economies, but also in tourism. So can you create those myths in metaverse so the new generation has the ability to say in the future, oh, I remember that, and you know that things that we feel, understand, and learn when we are kids, it's for us for all the life. So whatever impacts you at the beginning is going to be with you all the time. So can be the metaverse the next media to create myths in the industry for the tourism as well? So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Now it's Sonia's turn, Sonia Huerta. Sonia joined Mabrian Technologies as head of the Customer Success Department with the aim to enhance client experience and enable a qualitative leap in the continuous improvement process of Mabrian's platform, transforming it into the best travel intelligence tool that there is on the market. Sonia's background is key to reach these objectives. Over 10 years of experience in tourism management and marketing, particularly for destinations, and 20 years of accumulated experience in marketing, sales, and projects management. Before joining Mabrian's team, Sonia was the head of destination marketing in THR, a consulting firm specialized in tourism. And before that, she worked as an assistant to the sales director for the famous toy manufacturer Famosa as a project lead consultant in the advisory firm Capgemini Ernst & Young. She also says that sustainability is one of the big issues here when we're talking about tourism and metaverse. Let's see what you have to say, Sonia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Also, thanks to all of you for being here and having the patience to listen to us. Also, thank you to the Catalan Agency of Tourism for thinking of Mabrian to join this conversation. Today, of course, I'm not here as an expert in metaverse. I am here today as a person who has a background in tourism and who has done a bit of research on the concept of metaverse in order to try and imagine, because really today, as my colleague says, metaverse, it's still in a primary, let's say, form. It's not really operational yet or not open to mass market yet. But to imagine, can we make something of it for tourism? Can we take something of it for tourism? What could be the applications? So I'm going to be doing this by answering 3 questions, okay? First one, really, if metaverse is a passing fad, as also my colleague Carlos was saying, that really it could just be a bluff, or if it's here to stay. And by here to stay, I mean as I said, if we can take something meaningful out of it, if we can find some sort of application, that help us in the travel sector. And the thing is that many of you have probably heard about the concept of Metaverse for the first time when you heard Mark Zuckerberg talking about the rebranding of Facebook and Facebook becoming Meta. Okay? Probably many of you. And it's, of course, perfectly fine. The thing is that we have these guys, we have Mark Zuckerberg saying that in 10 years, they would have developed their Metaverse. This is the biggest transformational project for his company. And these guys have the resources to make it happen, which so far, I believe, this has not happened. So for the first time, we have someone with the resources, the knowledge, because they have been acquiring firms who master the different technologies involved in Metaverse. And they began years ago. So we have these guys with the money and with the ideas to make it happen, okay? So that's one thing. And of course, they have to make it happen because they know Facebook, it's in a slippery slope. And there's a lot of course, bad publicity about other social networks. So they need to innovate. Also, that so far, the applications of Metaverse have been mainly in the gaming industry. But this is a beginning. So in this industry, we find this application of being able to immerse ourselves in a virtual world that we sometimes create ourselves, that we share this with others, or that others can share theirs with ours, and we can interact. So in the gaming industry, Metaverse, it is a reality. And in fact, some of the companies that Mr. Zuckerberg bought, they are here, like Population One, or the ones that design Population One and Beat Saber. So already, we have people with money that say they are going to develop this Metaverse that will be the next social media. And then we have a reality already happening in the gaming industry. But of course, I was trying to see, okay, but is there really something in tourism already going on? And as I was doing my research, I came across this company, 63D, and they say that they also, in a few months, not 10 years, as Mark Zuckerberg says, but in a few months, they will have their Metaverse, and in fact, they have already partnerships with some of the most important online gaming distribution platforms. And these guys are a Spanish company based in Cuenca, not in Palo Alto, California, but in Cuenca, Spain. And these guys, I went through the examples, and I saw this example of how you can yourself recreate a civilization. You have all these tools to create it and to experience it. And then when I saw this, and there were other examples, I invite you to go into their website and to look at the examples they have of the applications, because they go beyond this gaming. So I thought, wow, this looks more like it. This looks more like something that in tourism, to experience the destination before we go there, and to imagine ourselves how it could be, and to experience how it was years ago and how it is right now, that could have some application. Of course, right now we are at this point where it's like we are at the tip of the iceberg. But if somebody would have said to us 10 or 15 years ago how social media would evolve, if somebody would have told me when I was telling my colleagues yesterday, when I was researching at university 20 years ago, and I had to go to this little room where I could access the computers that really had a way to internet because we didn't have internet at home. I mean, if somebody would have told me in such a short time, the long way that we have walked, I wouldn't believe it. Artificial intelligence, not so long ago, was just the title of a movie. Right now, we talk to bots. So, blockchain, which is also an enabler for Metaverse, the non-fungible tokens, those unique digital assets. So all the things that I have read leads me to believe that maybe Metaverse could be the new internet or the new way of enjoying this content consumption, and as Carlos saying, this interaction and this immersion. So yes, to the first question, I think it's here to stay, and the fact that these people are really pushing hard for it, I think it's going to make us move faster than we have done in the previous decade. Second question, opportunity or threat? I think there's going to be good and bad news about it. But just as anything, any other technology that we have seen so far, yes, that we're going to lose privacy. Probably yes, but of course, all of you know that Alexa listens, right? Alexa listens. So the privacy, those of you that have all these devices, I mean, these devices, even if they're off, I always think that they listen, because suddenly you're talking about a subject and you are turning your mobile, and some of the things that you have talked about appear in your mobile, and you have adverts about those very things. Or for instance, I have an electric car. My electric car has a camera. They say that the camera is off unless I turn it on. Yeah, like I believe it. I'm sure they are watching me. So it's a give and take. We need to understand that. So I think that in general, but especially in tourism, we just cannot afford seeing it as a threat. We need to see it as an opportunity. Does this sound familiar? I mean, many years ago when the first OTAs appeared, travel agencies, the traditional travel agencies, saw it really as a threat. But what OTAs cause is for travel agencies to move into new fields, to offer other value-added services. And also we have to think that the consumer changes and the way we consume travel changes. So we need to evolve. Same thing with hotels and vacation rentals. The challenges in the way need to be seen as opportunities. And I think we cannot afford to have a negative view on it. So we are at a very incipient stage. Technology is still not mature and affordable for the mass market. But I think that, as Carlos said, there are opportunities in the midterm. And because there are opportunities in the midterm, we need to have it in our plans. So in our to-do list, it needs to be there. You need to research and be aware about what other firms in your field are doing. And talk with your tourism boards and try to see how, acting collectively and not individually, we can all make sense of it. So finally, from a tourist point of view, how do I think the metaverse can add value to the traveler? And if we add value to the traveler, we add value to our businesses. So here you have the travel life cycle. I think that Metaverse can add value to the traveler in all the stages of the life cycle. But probably in the midterm, the first part will be the inspiration, I think. It's the one that I think it's going to be easier because of all the development and because it's the part that resembles more the gaming, which is where Metaverse is more developed. So how do I think in the inspiration and dreaming? Of course, showcasing your destination or your company, And I think that for once, you are able to communicate to the customer in a more immersive way, and also the customer can know better whether your value proposition fits what he or she wants out of their holidays. So I think it's to communicate, to market, is an exceptional opportunity. I think that it has different levels of opportunity for mature destinations and for new emerging destinations. For mature destinations, because I think it would be a helpful tool in the repositioning strategy, or if they already feel they are well positioned, to introduce new elements less known of the destination. And I think for destinations that have image problems or that have no image, I think it can also be a powerful tool. Like I was thinking the other day of destinations like Rwanda that obviously have negative perceptions associated and an image that does not match the reality of the destination today. I think that for destinations such as those, it can be a great tool. And also I think that it's a great tool also to create emotion about visiting the destination. Also, I think that over time, in terms of planning and booking, I think it would be good. Because one of the main issues when you are planning a trip, it's, okay, how do I make the most of it? And it's not so easy to find those DMCs that are seated here. In fact, it's one of the biggest problems. And there are many intermediaries. So why don't we use this to cut those intermediaries and to talk from traveler to final supplier, and that could be also. And finally, experiencing the destination. And that's also, I think that in events, both leisure and business events, I think here there's also a big opportunity to, in terms of leisure, to have more people accessing those events without actually being there, or at least being there that year, maybe planning about being there some other year. So we can make it accessible to more people. And businesses, very much related with sustainability, I think the combination of metaverse and real presential, it can be also positive. And also the possibility of enjoying unique experiences in the form of exclusive digital products, or I think also even the further democratization of travel, the fact that maybe you're able to somehow enjoy some destinations without actually being there for people who would never be able to be there. I think that's an opportunity. And just to end, a couple of examples of companies that are working in this field and that are working already in tourism initiatives like Imascono, which is a Spanish firm, and took the festivities of El Pilar to the Metaverse. And through that, they reproduced the church, they reproduced the the flower offering. Through that, a far larger number of people could enjoy the nightlife at the square, watching the fireworks. They even enter into a contest in which they could win a stay at hotels, dinner at restaurants. So it's a way of participating, creating this customer base for the future, etc. And finally, in the terms of the business events, this Rendeverse firm is specialized in meetings in a metaverse. And they are now working with the brand Marriott to develop all their digital part of the business, and they are going to create 3 virtual spaces to be able to conduct businesses and to blend these two kind of presences. And I think that in terms of the sustainability, I think in terms of cost, in terms of time, resources, I think this is also a good option, a good alternative for businesses events. And well, with this, I'm finished. I think I almost ran over my time, but I hope you have found it useful.
Thank you very much, Sonia, for your words. And last but not least, we have Barbara Prodinger. She's the founder and CEO of Livier, with more than 13 years of hands-on experience in the tourism industry. The Austrian startup offers hotels and destinations tailored virtual and augmented reality experiences for the living rooms of their guests. You'll see it. It's really something different and interesting. They add raw materials from the regions. The users dive into their holiday memories with all the senses, merging the analog with the digital world. She recently published a white paper on multisensory VR experiences in destination management. Barbara is part of the experience design department at the University of Applied Sciences in Salzburg and a founding member of the World Experience Organization. She has a really interesting approach to Metaverse and tourism, so we'll hear what she has to say. Please, Barbara.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you very much for having me here at this beautiful place. Yeah, I'm the founder of Livia, Living in Another Reality, a startup that we founded during the pandemic. Well, tourism, not that easy, but we are creating tailored multi-sensory VR experiences that bring it in to our guests, to our travelers, to our clients that are tailored to the destination and to the hotel. And now I want to explain to you and talk to you about what steps you can take now to the direction of the Metaverse, to the direction of VR, and what we did. Well, we are working at the University of Applied Sciences, my co-founder and I, in Salzburg. And what is our daily business? We are creating customer experiences, first of all in an analog way, but also in a digital way, along with all phases of the customer journey. But 2020 was different, and we are now opening the doors to new technology like VR, augmented reality, to use right now in our tourism industry. But 2020 was different. And as you can see here on the newspaper, cruise ship Brits, we have the virus. And we had lockdown, isolation, worldwide travel restrictions. Now we're in a place 2 years later. But thinking back of Austria, we had now the skiing season, but we were not sure, can we start? If we start, main customers are coming from Germany, and there is this great anxiety still 2 years later. Can I come to the destination? Yes or no? And we were wondering at this point, how can we connect with our clients if they are not here? How can we connect with the clients in times of uncertainty, that they can remember the beautiful experiences they had at the destination and they come back? Before I studied, I worked for a travel agency, and also we did tourism marketing. So we said, what can we do? Let's send out newsletter. Then sitting in home office, you don't want to get another email in your office. You don't want to have another one. Then we are active on social media, but this is based on audio-visual elements. But when we look around and when we look out of this window, we are living in a multi-sensory world. So we thought, what can we do? Let's combine virtual reality with simple analog products. And this is how it works. Imagine one day there's a little package in front of your door from the hotel you stayed in the last time. You open it, foldable VR glasses out of cardboard. You scan the QR code, put your mobile phone into the glasses, and dive into your individual holiday memories. Now breathe, squeeze, release. It is the scent and the feeling of the raw materials in that little bag, triggering all the senses and emotions you have of that unique place. And you can experience this again and again and again. Coming home from work, having a hard day, being in a city like that. Get on your sofa, put in the VR glasses and dive into the experience again. Dive into the hotel, have a wonderful view, climb your favorite mountain. And this is what VR can do to us. We tailor this experience to the hotels and destinations with their message, with their design. They get a little present from them, and people are happy to get this value, the creation that we have over here. In May, we did a kind of a pilot study, so we sent out 100 boxes because I wanted to know, is it only me that I'm excited about this, or also other ages like 30, 40, 50, 60? What would my grandparents do with this package? Are they ready for VR? Are they ready for these new digital experiences? And the reaction was amazing. We cooperated with a destination in Salzburg, so Sound of Music scenery, you can imagine. And the DMO got a lot of messages, newsletters, think about you, messages, social media, also on Instagram, and writing, thank you very much for these experiences. I showed it to family and friends. This is the new way of sharing media. And one woman, she was about 55 from Germany, writing me, thank you very much for this emotional experience. I said, okay. She's about 55 from Germany, and she has been to this destination as a child with her parents. Now she has a strong cancer and can't visit the destination anymore. So this was a way that she can experience the destination again with healthy for mentally not being to visit it, and this is what we can design at the moment. VR allows us to travel anytime without a lot of resources. Imagine you come home, get a package, put on your VR glasses in the stadium of FC Barcelona. I know this is a great thing here. We have been to the shop yesterday. I got a picture. Imagine you're sitting in the crowd, jubiling, you see it here, the fans are crying, the atmosphere, you have the players on the field. This is what we can design right now. And this month, or this week, on Monday, the president of the FC Barcelona announced the new digital plans of going into the Metaverse and going these new steps. But what is happening right now? He's tailoring an experience to his company, to his football club. How can we enter? The basis for entering the Metaverse is virtual reality. You get on your headsets, and you dive into this digital replication of the real world. You, for example, what they are going to plan is for the organization that you can host company events over there. You get these presentations. Some people from all over the world are sitting at home with their VR glasses, attending a conference, an event, music festivals at any time here at the Barcelona Stadium. And this is what you can do for your destinations as well, because this is a place that we can design. It's not only Mark Zuckerberg having this whole metaverse, it is a place that we can co-create. In Austria, it would be that you're at the cathedral in Vienna, you go on a big wheel. This is a place that we can design to our destinations, to our hotels. And yeah, that is what I am doing right now. And people said, yeah, this is something for the future. We have to see what is coming, but not. Let's go back to the future. And again, what Marty McFly and Doug is saying here, where we are going, we don't need roads. And this is also in the past. I show you here, this is from 1962, and this is the first multi-sensory VR experience. So this is a long time ago. It is a box where you go in, you have this vision all around you, you have music, sound, someone is playing something to you, you feel it, smell it, you have this event in front of you. You go in and you are immersed in this environment, in this experience. And this is the beautiful thing about VR, what social media can never manage. You are in these glasses and you shut out the world around you. You have to focus on the moment you're concentrated in. When you get a paper, someone is going around, someone is screaming, someone is talking to you. But when you are in this VR glasses, everything around will disappear. And this allows us also to create experiences. What we need is virtual reality glasses. They are not that expensive anymore. I don't have one because it's still the good ones, 800 euros. But there is cheaper options as well. And what we are doing with the foldable VR glasses, they're made of cardboard. It is about 10 euros and you get one. Maybe some of you already remember the Google Cardboard, what they did. And also people who never used VR before, you can't break anything. Because when you have an expensive tool, you say, oh, can I cooperate it? Can I operate this one? I should break something. But with cardboard, you can't break anything, and this is the great thing you can do about. And this is the experiences you can create. Will the customer journey change? No. What VR allows us is to emphasize or ameliorate also the pre-travel phase and also the post-travel phase. Because right now we are designing experiences on stage when the clients are in our destination, when they are already here. What is changing, especially in the pre-travel phase, that the information gets even more. And on site, we have a chance also for heritage preservation, to visit places that don't exist anymore, also to visit places that are super crowded, and also to have these places again and again and again. Why are you here today? As mentioned before from my colleagues also, they said, we are pros in Zooms. We are good in MS Teams meeting. And when I go into an office like yesterday, there is also always someone in front of a computer having a Zoom call. But people want to meet, they want to experience. And again, we live in this multi-sensory world. And when you remember the nice dinner you had yesterday, this is not possible in this digital world. This is all the senses you get. When talking to someone, you feel this person, and this will never change. I may introduce you to the Bored Ape Club. These are random people from all over the world who bought NFTs, digital pictures of a monkey. What happened? First of all, I thought, should I buy it? No, it's a monkey. I don't like it. It was worth 200 euros. Now they're worth 40,000 euros upwards. And a community came. They bought these pictures, and oh, you bought it as well, and you, well, we all have it. They are building communities in this digital world where they all come together. But what do they want to do? They also want to meet in the real world. So this community that started in a digital way now wants to meet offline. And here they had a gathering in LA. Only people with the NFT of the Bored Ape are allowed to attend these events. They had huge festivals, and they want to connect, they want to meet. And where are they doing it? In our destinations, in our hotels. So it is now our opportunity to design for these events. At the restaurants, they're having our flights, they're having our beds and everything. So this is opportunities where we, as experienced designer, we as destination management organization can step in. So let's connect with me together in a real or in a digital world. But I have to say, also sitting in front of the computer, meeting digitally, it's everything happening in the real life. Take these chances, meet each other. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we finish the first speeches. As we said, it's 10-15 minutes that they all talked about their way of seeing Metaverse and tourism. And now we'll just send a direct question to each one of the panelists so they can elaborate a little bit more about them. I'll start with you, Pierre. In your presentation, you talked about ethics. I think it's a really important issue because it's like a broad subject that we have to address in the right way, right? I don't know if most of you saw the news, but not too long ago, 2-3 weeks ago, it was reported that some ladies were molested on the Metaverse. There was a lady from England. I remember it was, she was English, and she was saying that she was even raped on the Metaverse. So that means that lots of things that are happening in real life will happen there. Doesn't mean that we have to adapt laws and we have to create maybe new laws to address all this subject. How do you see it?
Yes, I mean, in the I mean, the law has always to adapt to the reality. So if the metaverse is becoming a reality, and we see that there are a lot of reason for that, I will remove, I don't know how to handle that.
Put it down to talk
well, anyway.
easily.
No, I will put it closer from my mouse. Anyway, so yeah, the law has always to adapt to the real life. So if the metaverse is becoming more a reality in the sense that more and more people are using it, of course, the law will have to treat these events like this aggression that happened. And that's exactly what I said. I mean, even if everything is virtual, even if those people, maybe this woman was in England and maybe the other people were in other countries, and then they will never meet in real life, but still, she felt aggrieved and even raped. So, I mean, it was something very strong, and it can provoke traumas, and it can be a real problem. So, of course, that's something that we have to adapt in the real life, and law is probably the same. Like, I don't know, like autonomous car, or I don't know, like everything that is new, that is not part of the legal system, the actual legal system, has to enter in it in a way or another. So I think, yes, of course, the law will be adapted to that. Mm-hmm. But for that, what we need, I think, is I think it's the purpose of the company is to develop this metaverse and to expand it. But there must be some governmental and some universities, some non-profit organization that do some investigation about the way to handle all of these problems. Maybe some academics from the law university should think about how to legalize or regulate the rules and how this metaverse should be organized.
No, that's very interesting. Carlos, we talked about different myths about cinema, about The Godfather. There are myths that are created, but we can go a step further. Is it possible that the metaverse influences reality? Is it possible, for instance, that a monument that is created virtually in the metaverse, or an amusement park, I'm imagining, that is created in the metaverse, if it's really successful, then it could be built in reality? Can these things not go only one direction, but to go back the other way?
Yes, I think that both reality and metaverse are, so the transference is the two ways. So from reality to metaverse or digital spaces, whatever you want to call it, and the other way around. So, for instance, we see how media that are kind of digital, because a film is not real, impact you in real life. And you are asking me, how is the other way around? So in the other way around, we can see things that happened already in the past that how can be in the future. So for instance, what Disney has done in amusement parks is just that, because from films, they create an amusement park of something that it doesn't exist, and then you experience as you are in the movie. You meet the characters of the movie that doesn't exist. So it could happen the same with video games, and also the video games is the second step, because first is Disney, then Nintendo and Sega build amusement parks about video games. So you go there and you meet your characters, you meet the scenarios of the video game. Mm-hmm. So I am sure that when it makes a success, the transfers between the virtual and the real thing is going to be both ways, and it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Sonia, this one is for you. You say the metaverse can reposition a tourist destination, right? So it could affect it in the good way, but it could also affect it in the bad way. Is it possible, for instance, that it could damage a tourist destination? If it happens, how do you think this can be avoided?
I think it's a difficult question in the sense that, of course, you have to imagine how it would be. I see this concept as a new channel that we can use to communicate. And I imagine that, see, right now already anyone can go and, talk about the destination in ways that damage the image of the destination, and that happens nowadays. And I guess that in Metaverse can happen the same. We can have generators of contents, generators of services, of realities that damage or that go against this repositioning exercise. But what I also think, it's the way I imagine it, I think that this metaverse being communities, or at least in my, how I see it, being communities where that have been created by the destination, or that the destination is part of these metaverse communities. I think maybe for the managers of this metaverse will be easier to moderate this content generation in order to, those that really doesn't reflect the reality, or, being able to manage it. Just in a way what companies do by managing right now their reputation, online. So I think in a way I see it as communities of metaverse, and I think that maybe that would make it easier, or maybe I'm being naive, I don't know.
So we'll see what happens. Another question for Barbara. Well, how do you think that Metaverse is going to affect the way we travel? Because we focus lots on planning, we focus lots on destination, but now maybe the focus is more on the experience. So what do you think about it?
So I think the customer journey itself doesn't change, because we are still planning beforehand, we are booking our trips, we go there, we go home and share it. So this will be basically the same. What will change is how we get information, because the metaverse, as you all mentioned today, is a new form how we can consume the content. And we also did it right now, because what we experience in the destinations is people come here because of Instagram. Any follower, any influencer, posted it online, they all go there, they all go to Mykonos right now, for example, or to Dubai, because it is on Instagram. And the same can happen at the metaverse. And what I think a major part will be on the planning, on also the inspiring phase to go to a destination. Because 6 years ago, I've been to Los Angeles with friends of mine, and we did go to this Hollywood sign, and it was the first time for all of us. But a friend of mine, Johnny, he was saying, we go straight, right, left, and then we are here. And I said, why do you know that? Yeah, because it's in Need for Speed, the game he's playing all the time. So he knew about the destination, he guided us around the destination. And I think when people are actually in a destination, they consume it in a different way, because they know where they are and where to go.
Okay, very interesting. Well, now it's your turn. Anyone from the audience that wants to ask something to any of the four panelists, please. Is there a microphone that, please, you can, yeah, the second row, Raquel. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Nobody can imagine suddenly the world stopped silent because of COVID-19. It's a threat. The world failed to face this threat. I think one of the reasons, there is not enough collaboration. There is not enough between the countries. Because that in slow tourism, I think we have to think how to go to more cooperation, to experience, to exchange experience, knowledge, cultural, education, because to reach to the peace is very important element in tourism. I think so. I am from Palestine. As a Palestinian, we are against any war. Because we are suffered, we are still suffering, because that we need to more cooperation. Now the world, as a small village, it's the question. It has to be good. It has to be good, but I afraid it's a threat. It's a threat. If we not go more cooperation, more peace, more, how we have any plan in slow tourism? Can we do it together? Especially we are from different countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know who wants to add something or to answer this words. Yeah, for the whole group.
Yeah, I would like to add something here. Me myself, I'm not a gamer at all. But the digital world is really stressful. Sometimes a lot of things is happening in this world, maybe also in the metaverse. What I see right here regarding slow tourism, that when people get out of the world and they go on vacation, when they travel, they want to have calm area, they want to enjoy nature, they want to enjoy small destinations without a mobile phone. I think, in my opinion, and also where tourism research is leading, that slow tourism, sustainable tourism, social media detox, digital detox will be more important in the future.
It's because we can't enjoy by our nature. We can't enjoy.
Definitely. And this nuance of replication we can't manage digitally right now, or maybe in the future.
Totally. Anyone else that wants to add
Well,
something?
maybe I can add that sometimes you want to like promote some place, but you don't want the people to like massive tourism to go to visit that place because it will damage the place. So one of the first projects I made when I was in France, there is like a natural reserve, an old wood in the frontier between Catalonia and, well, in Catalonia, but between France and Spain. And so the people that were taking care of this reserve, of this natural wood, they said, we have a problem. We want to advertise and show the diversity and the importance of this part, of this natural park, but we don't want the people to come to visit because they will destroy the park. So we made a virtual tour of the forest showing a different video. They had a lot of material that they wanted to show to the people to explain the diversity and the richness of this reserve and why we have to preserve it. And I think in that sense, the metaverse and all the digital tools can help a lot in that sense.
So it would be possible to have the exposure, but not to have all the people there damaging probably the
it's
destination.
also the case in some of the prehistoric places where having too many people is also bad for the place. So I think it's already done in some places also.
Okay. Is there any other question that we can have from the audience? Oh, I see a hand, two hands there. Please, yes. Just 1 second. First, the lady with the microphone. Okay.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for the impressive presentations. What my question is, in the future, there going to be a single metaverse or several connected metaverse?
I don't know who is entitled to start answering this. Just one big metaverse or lots of metaverses connected?
I can give you just my opinion. I think it will end up with one interconnected metaverse. Like we could say we have one internet. There are different actors, different servers, different methodology, different protocols, different things, but there is one internet global. So I think if it goes the way we expect, it should be one single metaverse in the same sense of there is one World Wide Web, something like that.
Carlos, you were going to add something, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, the thing is, I think that the scenarios are going to be different. So for instance, you could be in, I don't know, in Roblox doing some stuff with dinosaurs. and then you can do Need for Speed in driving in LA. The interactivity on the interaction, not with the people, between the places. That means that what you have done in one place can be transferred to another. So if you earn some special some clothes, can you transfer that to the avatar in the other part? That is a silly example. And that is something I am not sure, because in internet, he's comparing with internet as a platform. There were so many networks at the beginning, and then the internet, what we now as an internet, just prevail, and it's the only one, and everyone connect to that. I don't know if in Metaverse it's going to be the same, because it could happen that every brand has their own experience, like now that every brand is in Instagram, but also TikTok, but also Twitter, and then every media has their own channel, and their own channel has their own specific things. I am not sure if it's going to be one metaverse. So that's why it's a future, and let's hypothesize. Imagine the only way that now in internet is interconnected, there is only one thing that is interconnected, and it's not so developed, that is the login. Now if you want to create a new thing in whatever place, you can use your Gmail, you can use your Apple, you can use that kind of stuff. But beyond that, there is no interactivity, even if there is this no-code movement that is helping, but you cannot transfer your things from one service to another in internet. So that is what I am skeptical of the future in Metaverse. It could be done, yes. There are incentives in order to be done, because everyone is going to push their own thing. Let's see.
Do you have any views on this question?
See, I'm not a technology person, but how I see it, it's difficult for me to see that there's only one metaverse, because I think that probably what will happen, and my idea, is that there will be several metaverse providers, let's say, or platforms. And in those spaces, we would be able to create, to have our piece of land there, to have our space there. But I see it more in big metaverse providers, and whether those metaverse providers are linked, and as Carlos said, my avatar and what I do in this one has a reflection on the other one, I don't know. But the way I see it is that maybe because I make the analogy with social networks, that's probably where I get my idea. But that's how I see it. Only very, very, very powerful companies will be able to maybe develop their own completely metaverse. But the mortal ones, the rest of us, would have to buy a piece of space there.
Is there anything, Barbara, you want to say about it?
Yes, and we talked at dinner yesterday about this one as well. I think when you have a metaverse, when you have a landed property in the metaverse, like Snoop Dogg, buying it for $4 billion, a landed metaverse, it is only valuable with the people on it. What you create on this piece of land and the other people or maybe companies that are around there. So together it is a strong place, but if you're alone in your metaverse at your piece of land, it's lonely.
Exactly.
You know, and it makes no sense.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't know if there's any other question. There was another hand probably risen there. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, thank you very much. I truly enjoyed each and every presentation. I agree with Signora Sonia that Metaverse is here to stay due to the resources and the development. And again, I see it as a good opportunity for DMCs and companies during that evolution. But my big question is, once it's fully established, would it be an actual threat to the normal convenient tourism? I mean, if I can now go to El Peru, for instance, in a fully VR, AR environment, and I get to immerse in the experience, while I'm doing now everything on my phone and I order my food through Uber Eats, and now would the normal client actually then concern the expenses of doing it in a physical way, since he has done it already in a virtual? I've seen everything. I have seen the mountains. I've seen the location. Maybe I should skip doing that. I can use the resources into buying another technology equipment. Applying that same logic, for example, in who goes now to the library to read books? Only very few. Or whenever you want to do a research, you do it on your phone. Who reads a newspaper? So is it going to be the same in the future after the evolution, once the metaverse is established? My question is that because should we as DMCs start investing in our own presence in the metaverse for the future more than just as a marketing tool? Or thank you.
Yeah.
So regarding the places, if you compare with the metaphor of the library, the places are the content of the book, and the library itself is the access. So maybe the way that you read is changing. The way that you buy a package of holidays is changing. I don't think that physical is going to be a skip. At least in our age, where we are alive and our kids. That is my opinion. But places cannot afford to be reactive in the sense of position themselves to get known by the people. So I don't think that nobody is going to say, okay, I have already done in digital, why go there? And I'm going to go digital every place and physical no place. So first, the places has to actively go to find the ways to reach people in order to get known. Then all the players in between that help the transaction has to adapt. The same thing that when internet came, agencies has to adapt, and some part of the business died, other part of the business grow. There are consolidation in some part, and that is usually bad for small players. But you know what is, you have to know if you are a player in the chain, you are not the destination itself, you have to know what is changing to adapt. So I see more risk in the players in the middle, but the location, the players in the middle, not now. So the same transformation in 10, 20 years. And the location has to do their efforts in order to position themselves in the minds and the souls of the future customers.
Yes, I agree with what he said. I mean, in that sense that I think it's more, it will change maybe the way we are traveling, the way we are, as they say, like the way you are planning the journey and the way you experience it. Maybe if you have already experienced it virtually, you will have some knowledge of the place, so you will not maybe go exploring the same way like you would go and discover everything. You know, you travel there because you know what you expect and you know what you will see, and you want to see it and see it for real. And maybe, I think I saw it more like compatible with the slow tourism. Like it will change the way we are doing this. And also to, instead of being in front of the TV and watching the photographies of the travel you've done, probably you will wear the helmet and you will be again there and maybe see the picture you've done in the place, or maybe I think to remember and to have rememberings of the travel and to plan the travel, but I don't think it will cancel the fact that you want to go there.
Yeah, I wanted to make 2 comments. First one, about this idea maybe of thinking that we will move more to the virtual reality vacations rather than the traditional ones. Just think that in every country we have different number of days of holidays, but we all have holidays. And in those holidays, you want to get out of home. You want, air in your face. You don't want only to see the grass in this virtual reality, or you want to feel it. you want this warmth. So I don't think that that's going to disappear. Only that we are having an enhanced experience. And the other thing is that I think we need to approach this new era of internet as a challenge to become better as cooperating, as a gentleman over there was saying before. I think that the cooperation between private, public, to get together in Metaverse, it's going to be a great challenge. And I think that is something that destinations need to think about, need to start talking about with businesses. How do we want to get there, you know? Because this sector has a challenge already in digitalization in the traditional internet as we know it. So it's going to happen the same thing with this new version or concept. So I think it's a matter of preparing the ground and for destinations to think, how are we going to do this together with our private industry in the short term, in order really to capitalize on these opportunities, okay? I think this is going to be a challenge for this industry so fragmented as we are.
Well, I think we have two options as well. First of all, to design a place that doesn't exist in real time. For example, if you replicate a museum and make one room on exhibition that you only can experience in the Metaverse, we can do that, or to make a full replication of your hotel, of the destination. But what I learned from VR is that people should be curious about the destination, so they have the experience to see, what is there? I want to go there. And don't take the wow moments, because when I see a hotel that we cooperated it, their wow moment is when they go on the balcony and have the whole lake in front of you. To not take these moments. So to make them curious, to go to the destination and don't replicate everything.
Just one more thing. See, when you go to a destination and you take pictures, and our cameras are better and better, but when you take the picture and you look at it, it's not the same. Those pictures never capture what you feel when you're looking through your eyes. That's why, for instance, I don't like taking pictures. If that stops me from enjoying the place. So think about it. Not even a picture can barely resemble what you are experiencing with your eyes. All these dimensions will never resemble by any means what you feel when you are there.
Please, I saw there's a question there, and then we'll go here.
Good morning. My name is Massimo Terracina. I'm from Italy. I'm just want to put a kind of a reflection, some thought to share with you about the Metaverse, which is a concept that I'm not really involved with. I'm starting to understand what it is through your words, and I thank you for that, because the explanation were a little bit clearer than what everybody speaks about, which is not what it is indeed. My question is, or my thought is concerned about the importance of the narration, of the tale about the travel agent or the person that is selling the travel. So you are selling as a destination using the Metaverse or using the internet or clips or films or whatever you want. You are selling that with a very enhanced reality. And the Metaverse is exaggerating this enhancing of the reality. So my question is, how can it can be used just like internet as a mean to reach the final object, which is the sale or the promotion of the destination. But to me, it's very important what is the narration or the tale of the person that sells you the trip in a destination and suggests you what to do. And this very enhanced reality in my opinion, is risking a little bit to have overexposed the thing, so that my expectation will not meet or will be undermet when I see the thing, because the metaverse is so deep and high in the explanation of the place that once I see the place is less than what I expect. You understand what I mean? It could be really overwhelming everything. Thank you.
Sí, the question is clear that the expectations would always be a bit bigger than the reality, right? What do you guys think about it?
Well, I think
don't
at
know
the
who wants
moment,
to
for the
give some
moment,
light.
I mean, in midterm, there is no comparison. Maybe in the future, if the system is improving really a lot, there could be something, like I was saying, like a confusion between the virtuality and the reality, and also some expectation that would exceed what the reality can offer. But for now, I don't think so. And also, it all depends. I mean, the human being is an emotional being. So it all depends on the emotion and what will happen, the experience that will happen there. So it's not only how realistic is the virtual or the digital environment. It's what's going to happen there and what's going to happen at the destination, the real one.
Sonia, you wanted to say something, right?
Yeah. I think that we don't need to wait for the metaverse for that. I mean, this happens nowadays. It's probably already happened to you. It has happened to me. Somehow, well, I saw this video, or they talked to me about it, or I read about it, and I thought, wow. And then I go there, and is that it? So this is already happening, so it's a risk now, and it may be a risk in future in metaverse, but I see it as something that can always happen.
Carlos also wants to say.
Yes, and in the same, really aligned with that. I remember, personal story here. I remember first time that I'm been in the Coliseum in Rome. I've never been I've seen the pictures, but not really deep until I was 17 and I was there. And I see the movies, and in my imagination, it's like, oh, it's gonna be like all the audience without people, but there, and it's gonna be the feel, and you go there and there is no feel because you see what is. So it's like, oh, because in my mind it was like the Camp Nou here, but in Coliseum for the Roman Empire too. But it's not like that yet because I was 17. I didn't know what to expect. So I think that right now this technology can help you to manage expectation, and the risk is not greater, because the greater risk is when you heard something and you picture your mind the same way that you read a book, and then you see the film and you say, well, it's not what I imagined when I read the book. So the technology make tangible things and help you understand what you are going to meet. So to me, as real as the technology close to the thing, manage your expectation, because our mind give us a space to imagine great things. So maybe in the future, the things that we are going to experience, or you can think, well, you take the best picture, you go there, and of course you saw the best picture. So when you go there, you don't have the same sun or the same exposition or whatever. I think that it could manage expectation better than if someone goes there and come back and say, well, that is amazing because A, B, and C, and then you don't have anything else. You go there of only hearing things, and then you expect more. So I don't know if it's greater risk. To me, it's a tool to manage expectation, so far.
Mm-hmm. We had another question here in the front row. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your information of today. Actually, it is a kind of revolution for our future plan to update us in the high tech. Second, I have a comment on what you talked about, photos in nature. Actually, my name is Imad Atrash from Palestine, as a member of the Mid-Barrels project, which is a little bit connected to nature conservation. Nature conservation, one of the issues that we attract the people, the visitors to Palestine, even local tourism or international tourism. Through the photos, taking photos of the nature there, first of all, as you know, Palestine is a holy land. And there is the faith, flora and fauna, biodiversity. There is a religious people in all over the world that are coming. They are interested in the biblical trees or animals which they are located there. Through photos, we can attract them. This is one point. Second, if we can see in Spain here, our partner, I am BirdLife international partner. I don't know if you know them about or not. There is a partner in Spain, they name sessió. There is a lot of people, members of these nature conservation or birds organization, such as RSPB, the Royal Society of Nature in England. They have 1.3 million. They are only, love birds. If we will attract them to come to record and to take photos of the endemic species in Palestine or in our land region, that means we can attract more people through these photos. My feeling, I am a photographer since 1982. My feeling when I am seeing mammals or birds mating or making love, this is something attraction for us. We know the season, we know the dates, we know the location, we know the species, we know the habitat, and we can attract people. This is a plus to your technology. I am connecting with you by the technology of you to my concept as nature conservation. We are, as Palestine Wildlife Society, the only organization or partner for the mid-barrels as a nature conservation. They are IT and travel agencies. But we appreciate to go together to take some photos of our nature. This is just at you. Thank you.
Any comments on that? I don't know if there are more questions. Yeah, I see a question up there. Please, yeah, microphone. Perfect, thanks.
Hi. Well, actually, it's going to be two questions. It's taken a while to get the mix, so I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. On one hand, there's been a lot of talk about how the Metaverse could help reduce the environmental impact of tourism, as it would reduce the actual presence of the tourists in the area. On the other hand, it's also been said that it would not compete with presential tourism because it would be used mainly as a marketing tool. So my question is, do both things can coexist, except for places that will or would be restricted to tourism, like the case of a natural reservation? So for instance, how could the Metaverse do that Barcelona suffers less stress on summer because of people partying in the streets, if it is used as a marketing tool and it's not competing with presential tourism? That on one hand. And on the other hand, if the Metaverse is here to stay, and if it's going to become a mass phenomena and everyone's going to use it, so what choice do we have? DMCs who are not using the Metaverse in 50 years will disappear, such as those who never adapted to the internet have disappeared. do we actually have a choice? These are my two questions. Thank
I
you.
think they're very interesting questions. Who wants to approach them to
Tough
start with?
questions, but nice question. I will maybe start by the second one. So I would say you always have the choice, but look at what happened with the internet. Who's not in the internet now or in the social media? So probably there will be ways to exist outside, but it's true that the choice is complicated if you don't want to be part of it. And for the first one, I don't know, it's also complicated, but I think it goes in the direction of the narrative, what we were talking about. Maybe you can convince the people that there are other things to do going to Barcelona that partying and having this tourism that the city wants to change. So maybe you could, as we said, you can plan your travel, and in this phase of planning the travel, you could, I don't know if I should use this word, but educate the tourists so that they don't, I mean, at least they expect to do something maybe different than this.
You.
So the first one, I think that, so Metaverse is a technology, and as a technology is a tool, as internet. So now let's talk about internet instead of Metaverse. Can internet change the behavior of the people so when they go party and they get drunk and in summer and the peak of the season, maybe it's getting easier to meet people when they don't know each other. So it's a tool, and as a tool, you have to understand the implications. So to change behavior, those tools are not the right thing to do. In those terms, we can change the subject and we can talk later, because I have a strong opinion there, how to change behavior there. But the thing is, you have to change before, not when they are already looking for that kind of party, they are gonna do it or not. So the behavior has to be at a school, with families. It's an education process, I think, in order to enjoy other kind of things. For the first question, that is, it's combining or not. One of the first guys that speak, I don't remember the name. He was, I think that he was the guy from here, the Consell. He said, well, they are doing this, the stationalization, so it's stationalized, and they are trying to move that. So again, it's a tool. It's not going to solve these kind of things itself. It can help if you think the way it is. So as plain, so headline, I don't think that is going to help directly. So I see that you see the risk, and I understand that, because it is a risk, because that technology reduces friction to do things that are in that direction, no in the opposite. And the second is a tool that you can use in order to do it. I don't, so you have to learn how to do it. And the other question is how we adapt, right? As a destination, I think that there are people like, for instance, those cities that partner with the directors of the movie in order to do films about the city. So you can do that with video games, small and big ones, depending on your budget. So I think that you have to start thinking, first you have to analyze what are the trends, how the trends shape in young people, and then you realize, well, there is an opportunity here, let's try to do a map of our city in that scenario, video game, whatever. But you have to be proactive. In the agents in the middle, as I said before, that is a different conversation, a much more risk in terms of the behavior of how you purchase, how you discover, and your business is to do the transaction and to do the discover, then you have to be really careful about it.
Just to add to my colleagues, I mean, I agree completely with what they have said. And I think that we cannot assign internet or eventually metaverse responsibilities that you cannot attribute to it. I mean, as they say, it's a tool. There are other tools or policies that can be implemented to avoid Barcelona coming back to what we saw prior to the pandemic. Some are marketing tools, other are other types of policies, but we cannot attribute responsibilities to internet or metaverse that don't belong to them. They are technologies. I think that was like the first question. And the second one, well, we just cannot, whatever we want it or not, we cannot stop innovation, and this is just a race to keep up to it, and that's the way the world works.
And I think it's also our responsibility that we have to proactively design this space, because we are experts in this city, in the destination. We have to be on the table to design these places with them. For example, Pokemon Go is in Europe not more that in a trend, but 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, Singapore marketing have a cooperation with Pokemon Go to spread the people around the city in the area, and this is what we have to do as well.
I see there's another question up there from the same girl.
Of course, you cannot blame the tool for the use people make of it, as you cannot blame nuclear energy for what's been done with it. That's obvious. The point is that in the development of that metaverse and in that application of the metaverse to tourism, are there actual current initiatives in defining how this metaverse should be able to help us to educate and transmit these values of sustainability? Are there actual projects working? I'm just asking because I know absolutely nothing about it.
So you have to understand the incentives behind the people that are doing metaverse. So for instance, you have 3 main players. Okay, we talk about Facebook. Facebook, unless there is money involved, so they are going to be a platform in order to make things happen, and they can get a cut of that. So I think that there's going to be a possibility there in the future, not now, in which you can develop something and then you advertise that thing that you are doing. So they go, and Facebook is going to be incentivized to do that. It could be a place for tourism, it could be whatever. The other two, like Epic with Fortnite and Roblox, for instance, they don't have any incentive in order to blend digital and physical. They only want people to spend time in the digital world. So you can use that. So you can use that as a discovery. So if you put something there, you leverage their discovery features in order to get discovered. It's like right now, if you upload a video on TikTok and YouTube get you 0 visits, and TikTok get you 400, 600. Why? Then you leverage TikTok in order to grow. This is the same. You have to understand which is the place that is going to leverage you better, and then you use it. There is no incentives right now in the metaverse in order to blend physical and digital. That is what you're asking. In augmented reality, is different. Because augmented reality, like Pokemon Go, or you have the guys in the Ingress that then Ingress was the first one. Then you play around the cities, and then you ask people to say, this is an important site of the city, and then they make pictures, and that is different. I believe more in augmented reality than metaverse, than virtual reality. That is my opinion. And I think that the blend between digital and physical in augmented reality can have much more options for this kind of tourism and this kind of situations.
Anything you want to comment? Okay. We could speak forever, right? I see there's another question there. Yes, please.
Okay, I'll make it very quick. Actually, my question is concerning the targeting a specific audience. So, for example, I own an adventure traveling company, and we're already struggling to take people out of their comfort zones, to take them bungee jumping or whatever. So, for example, if I wanted to adopt an experience like Barbara's, in my own company, should I target specific audience, like actually old people or physically disabled, other than targeting everyone, so that people would be, if I can bungee jump when I'm on my couch, that would be easier, because we're already struggling to take them out of their computers and their homes to go do adventures. So I'd really like to cope with the metaverse and future, but I find that it might contradict with what we're trying to do as adventure traveling company. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question, because I think this is a really, really good and important point, because now we have different barriers for the adventure, that we go out and enjoy it. We can, as I mentioned it as well, through VR to experience these places with people that have handicap or are not, or mentally illness as well, where we have a beautiful project in Salzburg as well to improve the mental health of it. Barriers which we have is also a digital barrier sometimes. First of all, right now where we are in, that people know how to use VR, even if people I would love to travel to a place because I can't. First of all, you have to get to know this technology. This is what we all have to do right now in education, to say this is how it works, to really go with it and remove the digital barrier, which is also happening.
I will tell you one quick thing. There is a book called Crossing the Chasm, and Crossing the Chasm, I'll tell you later. So the thing is about this book, they let you know how you can start in a niche and then try to go in massive in the deployment of a new technology. So they really understand what is the first target that I should focus on. It's a book about building digital products, but it's answered your question. So always there is a niche, but the problem is, okay, the niche is okay, but how I go massive from there? And there are technologies that didn't cross this gap, and other yes. So you have to understand how that happened. So that is a really good point, that it can help you with your specific thing.
I would like to add something, because it is like a startup approach, that you first of all dominate a niche, like Amazon started with books. And when you start with people who have handicaps, you can travel this way. It can go over to other people with no handicaps who say, yeah, oh, wow, I can go to this volcano. I could physically, but this right now. I think it's a good idea to start this way. Okay,
they're telling me that we are out of time, but sincerely, it's been really interesting. I think we learned lots of things today, and we made really important points, so I'm really happy about the way it went. Before saying goodbye, we just want to say that outside we'll have a few drinks and some food. We'll have a standing lunch here outside, so we can mingle, we can socialize a bit, we can talk to each other. And just last thing, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for coming. Have a good day.
Thank you.